What's up, everyone? Welcome to our Build in Public series for Sanctum, the tabletop roleplay game design app. This is episode 13, the second one of the year, and I'm pretty stoked to show what we accomplished this week. It was closing the gap on the inheritance model. That happens whenever you extend other systems within Sanctum. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it. It won't be that much. It's a big impact visually on this one. Under the hood, a lot of stuff, but not as long of an episode, so it should be quick if this is your first time. My name is Casey Baggs. I'm the founder of Nurl, the design platform for the tabletop roleplay game industry. This year, we're launching a product called Sanctum, and that will be primarily a design app for designing tabletop roleplay games. So right now, you're using notes, probably like some type of notes document application, whether it's there's Google Notes or Sheets, or even a new one, Obsidian, that a lot of people are using now. But at the end of the day, it's still a notes app. Like, you're just literally taking notes. It's not a game design app. And so we're building that for the tabletop roleplay game industry. So this app allows you to build very feature-specific files depending on what type of game content that you want to create, with enhanced features that notes apps just simply are never going to give to you. Notes apps don't care about the tabletop roleplay game industry. They don't care about you designing games for the tabletop roleplay game industry. We do. That's why we're building Sanctum. I wanted a single source of truth for designers to have this one place to be able to do what they love, focused on what they love, while also supporting collaboration and community, things that we already do, things that other design industries have had for decades now. We're bringing it to the tabletop roleplay game industry. So we don't use AI. We're a human-made company, and I don't know where I'm going with that. I've done so many of these at this time. So this is our weekly updates and show you what we've shipped this week. Hopefully, the goal is to get this privately into our first early adopter group in March. I think we can make that time. We'll see. It just depends on, we're building something that's never been built before. So tons of things pop up out of nowhere. So let's dive right into it and let's see how this goes. Okay, so we're in the dashboard. We're logged in as our indie collective group. I'm going to go into our open source game. First, let me go into licenses. So we can see here that as an organization, we have two licenses. We have one that we're working on. It's a not ready. We can see that it's in a draft mode, version 000. We're still trying to figure out, maybe we're waiting to hear from lawyers, whatever. But we also have another license that we've already published, and we don't really have any details here, but if we wanted to add details, we can add them. I'm not going to add any details just to save time, but obviously, we've talked about this in the past. This is where we manage and create our licenses. Okay, so let's go into our open source game. I'm going to go into our feature branch where we have a new system file, and I'm going to click in that system. And coming off from last week, we know that we now have this core resolution model. I'm not going to select anything yet, because I want to show the inheritance that we have. Likewise, in the license, I went ahead and assigned our custom license, we can see here, to this file. And we have a way to view the license because we're the owner. So we see that it's our license and some high level details. This is a massive upgrade to the user experience here. We didn't really have that much information. I felt something was missing, and now we do. So this is the perfect reference spot for you and anyone else viewing this file to come to understand the licenses. Now, let's go to the powerful part of just this entire platform as a whole, this entire application. I'm going to go into extensions. We can see here that we have one that exists. Now, this is never going to be the case in Nurl. Even when we launch, we're going to have, at the minimum, probably like 10 systems out of the gate. But within this testing environment, of course, it's all fake data. And so I'm not going to create a bunch of fake licenses. So we can see here that we have our Mörk Borg system by the Stockholm cartel, and that it's been installed already twice by 2 other people. And so what I'm going to do, we can see here also that it's a system. So even if it was like Mörk Borg engine, or maybe it just said Mörk Borg, I don't know, we would still be able to determine what type of file it is. So that way we know like it's Mörk Borg core rulebook, Mörk Borg system, etc., etc. Within system files, though, you can only extend other systems. However, once we get outside of that file, like into our core rulebook or adventure, or whatever, you can pretty much add any file as a dependency. It's open game, but because system files are essentially your game engine, we're scoping it to other systems. So, and because it's essentially the foundation of everything else, right? A core rulebook can't exist without a system. An adventure can't exist without a core rulebook, without a system. Hopefully you get what I'm saying here. Okay, so let me, within milliseconds, just do this one click. Boom. Okay, so it's really fast. We see that up here we now have one dependency, and we could tell the button changed, so we know that we just added Mörk Borg as a dependency. Likewise, if we needed to, we could go into manage, which works now. And we see that we have the Mörk Borg system. So browse, this is going to be like your marketplace. Manage, you're filtered down like what you have installed. Okay, so now let's see the powerful part of this whole inheritance model that will be ingrained in this entire application in every single file. So noticed how fast that was in general. So I want to build a Mörk Borg hack. I literally just clicked one button. I don't need anything else because you know why? We've inherited everything. If we go to resolution, we now see this very super nerdy secret code where next week we're building out like what this looks like in this experience in general. But this basically means that the Mörk Borg came with the core resolution, and now we have that core resolution, the Mörk Borg version. But you're going to see this better in our license because we also inherit the Mörk Borg license. And looky at all these goodies that we now have. So we saw yours before, now we see inherited. So we know that Mörk Borg third-party license came from our Mörk Borg dependency that we just added. And this has all the information, including the actual license itself. So you click this link, it's going to go to the Mörk Borg license. That yellow, look at my skin. Love that Swedish yellow, that Mörk Borg yellow. That's wild how it just boom in my face. Okay, cool. So there will be a visual culture shock if you do click that link. it has all the policies, and I tried to mimic the actual policies within this test data as much as possible, so we could see there's some things that are allowed to do, things we can't do, and just cautionary things that they're pretty open with. And most importantly, we get the compatible with Mörk Borg logo also inherited, because in this scenario, they went ahead and saved that logo asset to their license. They have that ability. So what does this really mean? Now that we have this in the file, where all of this is going is eventually you're going to create a core rulebook or adventure file or supplement file. And at some point, you're going to be ready to essentially go to print or go to layout. And what we're going to do is the end goal is to provide an export RTF file that you can just send to your layout person. And within that file, it's going to include all the licenses, all the copyright stuff, all the compatible with assets that you need. Everything is going to ship with this. So this is the power of Sanctum as a whole, like foundationally. And this is just the starting point. Like, we have just begun with the file creation here. You can see that we got to build out resolutions. We have to build out the analysis. We already have analysis built out, but essentially we have to transfer it to this tab. Got to build out blocks, which are essentially our system components. Figure out what that really is, formulas, and lastly, rules, like what rules you want to attach to, like dice or formulas or whatever. Rules can also be combat flows, for example. All of this stuff matters in a way that we're going to provide low-level mathematical tabletop roleplay game specific tooling. That this is what I'm talking about. Like, you're just not going to get these features in Obsidian or Google Notes or whatever. And so this is so powerful. So I'm really stoked. The license page finally feels complete. So I'm really happy. This is a great stopping point for us to get to beta. The only thing we're missing is the ability to remove a license. We can add all of our custom license. We can inherit them. If I wanted to remove this custom license now because we have a Mörk Borg, that's the only thing we're missing, but that's not, we don't need that to get to our private beta release. I can quickly add that in later. That's not a blocker, is what I'm trying to say, but I have that written down so we could come back to it. But yeah, overall, this page feels complete, like a proper reference document that you go to. Yeah, and I feel pretty good about this. So that's it this week. Pretty stoked, pretty happy with it. And next week, what we're going to do is, instead of seeing this code, you're going to get the actual core resolution flow. So in this example, everything would be supplied for us. For example, Mörk Borg uses dice as its core resolution tool, and it uses a rollover method of those dice, meaning that you have to roll above a check, at or above a check. And it already has by nature of being a standard polyhedral set, which is what they use. The D20 is the core identifier. All of that information is what you're going to see here in the next coming weeks. And so what we'll do is essentially we're building out how to see and manage that. And if it's inherited and you want to customize it, you'll be able to detach essentially and customize, bring in the Mörk Borg, but maybe you want to add a D2 dice or whatever. Whatever your heart contents. So we'll have that available, and that's where we're going next. So I'm really stoked. And analysis is literally just, once you have your set figured out, it's just taking that set and you doing whatever type of mathematical probabilities to your heart's content to understand how like dice probabilities work. And so that's it this week. Inheritance is hooked up in resolution and license. So, and it's the same model. So now from this point forth, whenever we do blocks, formulas, and rules, all of that stuff essentially is built in. So I'm pretty stoked. It's a great week. We're getting closer to that release, and that's it. So hope you enjoyed it, and like the video, helps us out. Leave a comment if you're stoked about something or have an idea about something. Let us know. Join our Discord server, get one-on-one chats and feature requests, and instant access. And that's it. Thank you so much. See you later.